Hi everyone, welcome to ApeX Tech Talks, episode 9. For those of you who are joining us first time, ApeX Tech Talks is a weekly fireside chat happening every Wednesday on ApeX Protocol's official Twitter Spaces. We try to hold real conversations for real decentralization with some leading voices in the Web3 and crypto spaces. So for today's Dex Talks, it's a great pleasure to introduce our speaker, Anndy Lian. For you who do not know, Andy is a thought leader, investor, and best-selling author. He authored the book named NFT From Zero to Hero. And there have been 8,000 copies of the book sold on Bybit NFT Marketplace. That started on August 15th this year. So we will talk more about it during our Dex Talks. But hi, Andy. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Andy. Andy, thank you so much for being our guest today. We welcome you.
Hey, hi. Good to see everyone, and good to have lovely chats with you. So maybe I do a quick introduction again. About
Yes,
myself.
please. If you could do a quick intro, give us a bit of a background of yours, especially in the crypto space. How long you've been active? What have your experiences been like? I think our community is very, very thrilled to hear all this.
Great. Okay, so just start off with right now I'm a book author. So this is my second book. So the second book is about NFT, From Zero to Hero. First launch on Bybit, and then subsequently on Amazon, Google, and so forth. So far, I've sold more than 9,000 copies. Hopefully, I can still sell more because I just started distributing the books into different Southeast Asia markets. My first book was in Korean, so it was a bestseller at Kyobo bookstore. So Kyobo is the largest bookstore and distributor in South Korea. So apart from what I'm doing, I'm a licensed fund manager in Singapore. I give advice to different governments. I'm very much into the space, with the regulatory bodies. So most recently, I'm also doing some advisory work with Bybit. And in short, this is what I do. And being the person around crypto and blockchain since 2017 has been a very fruitful journey. I've met good people. When I was giving advice to different governments. I am also meeting new people from new markets, for example, like Mongolia. So I give advice to Mongolia, still active role player within their ecosystem. So when I look at all the different things that are happening in the space right now, I just felt that, well, it's nice to, started off, more than 5 years ago, and looking at what I see currently, things have really progressed very far. And it is actually more positive for many of us, very positive for regulated funds, and you can see more people coming into the space, So I'm being exposed to different things, invested in, many different projects personally and on the fund level. So I hope to share more with you, in this Dex Talk. Thanks, man.
Sounds great, Andy. Excited to have you here. And since 2017, sounds like you've been through a lot of ups and downs of crypto markets. Maybe what we can do is, as your book concerns NFTs, from zero to hero, maybe what we can do is we can kind of dive into the basics of NFTs and kind of explain to the community what is usually used for in the Web3 at the moment, and maybe also discuss what other kind of use cases do you think the technology of NFTs would be able to help with the real world?
Sure, no problem. I think NFT is not a strange or not a stranger word to many of us, who are in the Web3 space. And to be real honest, when you ask me, what is the, what are the use cases that NFT is bringing to the space right now currently, I think there are plenty of them, but most people are still stuck in the PFP term. So right now, to be very honest, if you look at the NFT market as a whole, it has been really going downhill, right? And then as it goes downhill, you will realize that a lot of this utility that's supposed to be launched, like games, game asset, and so forth. They started to slow down, and it goes back to PFP again, and and to me, I think this is a cycle. No projects want to really launch themselves big time during the bear market. They just want to continue to build more advanced marketplaces, build more advanced NFT tools, and so forth. So this is the real fact that is happening in the space. But then again, the other spectrum of things is, what kind of potential can we get out from NFTs? I think the potential is really great. We can look at very simple things like having a good art piece, at a gallery. You can have a physical version and you can have a NFT version. All right. Why people are doing this is because, to be real honest, some of this artwork and so forth is really expensive. So if you have both versions, you can still show it to your friend, digitally on galleries. You can still tell people that you own this, without letting everyone, have a look at what you have, in your gallery. So things like this, I call it like a digital twin. It is actually very popular right now in leading art galleries. They are inspiring a lot of young artists and creators to do that. You have both. Also having that is a good thing for the artists as well, because most of them are actually traditional artists. Giving them a NFT twist can bring them more users, and having the twin will let them feel more comfortable, right? So these are the common things that we see. Game assets are the other thing that I often talk about. I think game assets are very, very good use case for NFTs. And NFT in the game asset, going into the metaverse can be used as a key to unlock many different things, from gamer skins, all the way into different assets that you can find in the game or in the metaverse. So this is a second use case. Again, all these things are very much, straight towards the art scene and to the game scene, and people will think that, oh, this is just fluff, right? That's not true, So if you look deeper into medical systems, for example, in some countries they offer full medical system, full medical healthcare, and the system is still very backwards. They do not have like a proper proper medical card, or their medical card does not have this picture of it and so forth. One example would be some parts in Canada, right? So this is a real situation where they came to me back in 2018. We talk a lot, about how to digitize their medical benefit system. So long story short, NFT can be the identity card. Using NFT as an identity card, you have your own identity on the blockchain, own picture on the blockchain. Your medical records are also going to be on the blockchain. So a lot of these things cannot be changed or cannot be edited since it's on chain. And the authority or the government will have a lot more leeway to control and regulate all these healthcare expenses, through the use of NFTs and crypto. Maybe not crypto, but maybe through blockchain technology. So healthcare is another thing, but to elaborate on a bit more on healthcare, maybe not on the government level, you could also put your healthcare data in the NFT on chain, so that you are being empowered to control your own healthcare data. You do not need to go to just one single doctor and then get sort of ransomed by that doctor. They keep all your medical records and so forth. But if you have a proper system, you can actually store it on chain. Talk to the first doctor. Put all the data on chain. Go to the second doctor. Give the doctor permission to look through a medical record. So there's no need for you to redo different tests. So again, blockchain and cryptocurrency and NFTs, they're all very closely linked together. And my examples on NFTs, in the last 5 minutes or so, brought you through, fun stuff, gaming stuff, and also very serious stuff. So NFT's potential is really huge. And again, I just want to say this, not because I'm into NFTs or I'm pro NFTs, but during this period of time, it is actually the best time to build NFT project. Many of these big brands, they still want to collaborate on NFT brands. They want to find a way to enter the NFT market, big brands, right? Of course, you know that Nike, LVMH, and all these big boys, they are really in. Then if you look around, big boys, local big boys in your local context, there are listed companies. There are also big SME like food chain and so forth. They can also make use of NFT to widen their footprint. It can be as simple as a royalty card. You buy a cup of tea. They give you a stamp right now. Instead of giving you a stamp, they can actually use NFTs, right? So you collect 6 of them, you can merge them and redeem. So these are all very simple things that can happen and can use NFT as a form of adoption. So this is a brief overview, I hope.
Yeah, sounds great. It actually kind of leads up to my following question, which is, um, if you can share a little bit more, right, about the future of the NFTs and its relevance to the real world, just like you discussed, right? The ownership, real estate or healthcare and other legal documents could definitely be replaced by NFTs, right? So when do you think the mass adoption is kind of expected to happen? When will NFTs become more of a mainstream thing?
Well, to be honest, if the COVID-19 lockdown is it didn't, if things didn't open up, I think NFT adoption would have gone to the next level. Just to be real honest about it. But if you look at the current state of NFT, I don't have a timeline, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do think very honestly is, I think the current bear market and the current look like a recession, recession forecasted economy is approaching. I think during that period of downtime, NFT will grow the fastest. Some of us will be stuck at home, or some of us will be, looking at new ways to create more cash flow or more money for ourselves. NFT could then become a real utility. When people are not traveling around, just give you another real fact. Like when people are not traveling around and they are stuck in their local market, they will try many different ways to look at different things. And then in one of the working group that I attended, and I was the speaker, we talk about this. We talk about how people and different smaller companies are looking at technology, and one of them is really NFT. So the royalty card adoption is something that was being shared. during the session, and to be very honest again, and I'm very surprised is that people are accepting all these ways, innovative ways to use NFTs, you know, and that actually helps in terms of adoption, and will help in terms of getting more users on board to use the NFT. If you compare the results of such maybe easy low-hanging fruit ways versus using a celebrity to endorse NFT and try to convert their fans into the NFT space, I think using a very practical model like the royalty card, or from a bubble tea shop, for example, that actually creates a lot more tangible, realistic results, as compared to the millions of hundreds of millions of dollars that are being spent, in the good name of NFT adoption and getting new users, from all these celebrities. So I think NFT adoption will be the fastest during the downtime, and NFT technology implementation can also be accelerated during this downtime, because more people are more focused in what they are trying to do, and not just creating projects or PFP that is used to pump up the market and then off they go, right? So during a downtime is still the best time to build. I hope I answer part of the question.
Yeah, you absolutely did. That's like actually very something that I also like think that like that this market gives so much opportunity for a lot of people to either enter or like learn more and like build projects. Like this is the best time really. To I guess shift gears a little bit. We've seen like a common occurrence in the NFT space where bots and snipers are constantly kind of manipulating the prices of some NFT launches. Do you think that there should be something that like industry experts, for example, coming up with either preventive measures to curb such actions, or that is actually like a healthy thing for the space?
Wow, I think if you talk about the bot, sniper, and so forth, these are very common methods that creators use to jerk up the price, or create some demand here and there. If you search my name and then you put Anndy Lian watch trading, I wrote a very long article uh, on forecast about NFT watch trading. I got the data from Footprint Analytics, and we did a lot of different work to look at how watch trading is being done. Why are they doing this? How are we going to track all the different wallets and so forth? Long story short, it is not healthy to have all these things, creating fake demands. But the shorter in the shorter term, I also want to bring up a few things. Number one is there are tools available online for NFT buyers to really know more about the NFT. Whether it's about the rarity, whether it's about the kind of valuation. There are portals that are doing that. Number two is if you are really a hardcore NFT collector and you really want to find the right NFT with the right and real trading volume, there are also other tools online where you could use that to track the different wallets and look at the different wallets that are related. And then from there, you can derive your own perception or your own conclusion that, okay, this project has a lot of watch trading, all the money are coming up from the same wallet, and they have some linkage, throughout the whole time. So users must do their own research, and they have to look at the different volume, the different ways that are being transacted. I will continue to look at the watch trading agenda, on NFTs, and in fact, in about 1 or 2 days time, I will maybe publish another article about watch trading on Ethereum for the month of October, because we realize that there are a lot of fake volume on chain, close to 50% of them on Ethereum that are all washed. Of course, these are based on some assumptions and some data that were being provided, but these are all useful information for all of us to read and get more educated. The figures might not be the hard truth, but this again, give more insights to users to understand that there are available tools to use, to protect yourself and protect your investment. So I hope again that answers part of the question.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds great, Andy. One last question about NFTs, and then we can switch to discussing more like DEXs. I'm just wondering, like you mentioned esports and like gaming sectors. Can you maybe like elaborate a bit more? How do you think NFTs will be integrated with such projects, right? With esports and other gaming sectors, and be like which projects are most likely to welcome the NFTs to their ecosystem?
I think first of all, a couple of AAA games have already expressed their openness to NFTs. We have big players like Epic Games, or even this Roblox corporation. Based on what I know, they are very open to NFT usage and adoption. Maybe not on their main game, but maybe on their sub game, or maybe in their gaming ecosystem. They are already doing that. So I when you ask me what are the possible scenarios that will happen, in the esports scene or in the gaming scene, is that instead of just purely buying your just purely buying your costume, or buying your gear. I think because of the Web3 economy, and we all know that is coming, the bigger game studios and the bigger game developers are looking at a rather different revenue model. So instead of people just paying to buy the equipment, they want them to play to earn their equipment. All right. This is one big change or shift that is going to happen, for some of these Web3 games, and it is very much driven by some of the more reputable game studios as we speak. Also, again, just a side note is that I just real think that those pure Web3 games right now, most of them are not in a very playable form. So it will still be good to be led by some of these Web2 players converting to Web3 to give us a better playing experience. So that's the side note. So apart from the equipment that you can buy, you can also they will also introduce things like an NFT marketplace within their own game, or they can collaborate with NFT marketplaces like OpenSea or the centralized ones like Bybit, for example. So they can, by doing that, they can create secondary sales for their NFTs. So first of all, a typical thing that you look at right now is that maybe there's a mystery box. So when the mystery box they open up, they can get points, they can get some nice hats, they can get some nice shoes, so forth and so on. Right now, there's no place for them to trade openly, and sometimes it's only being tradable in games, and there are a lot of exploits. So the gaming companies are looking at NFTs to reduce this, because they want to make sure that they have a fair environment for them to do the trading. Let's say if they are going to a Bybit, to do their to boost up their secondary market and so forth. They use a platform like this also because they have a global audience, right? So the game studio can then now tap on the global audience and get in more gamers to come in to speculate and also play the game. So this become a very healthy cycle, within the gaming space, and who knows, the next largest gaming competition may not be Dota 2, or may not be this Fortnite. It could be a Web3 games, because if we can spend 150 million, on F1 brand, F1 car brand, or we can spend 200 million, on a on other endorsement and so forth. I don't see a problem, putting 50 million as the prize money, on blockchain games, right? So I think that there is a shift of people, who are doing well in the esports team right now. They could be playing for Dota, for example. They are also looking at at some of these Web3 or blockchain games, because they know that the money is there, and they know that if they were to enter into Web3, NFTs will also be a big thing. And then all these players will have their own IPs, all these players will have their own profile. They can also create their own NFTs, sell them as a merchandise, to all their fans. So this bringing new revenue streams, for the esports players, also for the esports manager and the esports team in general, and it's a win-win for everybody. So I really hope to see that happening real soon, and create a real competitive environment for the esports and NFTs and crypto games and blockchain games to all merge together, because this is the best and fastest way to get new users and new clients, and that's adoption to the highest level, in my humble opinion. Yeah.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Andy, for sharing those insights. Very, very interesting. Maybe now we can shift gears and let's talk a bit more about DEXs and why they are, indispensable part of DeFi ecosystem. I think we've all seen by now the recent kind of saga between Binance and FTX. FTX announced that they're facing liquidity issues and their users may not be able to withdraw funds. So what is your opinion on this? How could this have been avoided if so? Andy, we cannot hear you. I think you're still muted. Okay,
I'm so sorry. I'm
no
so
worries,
sorry.
no worries.
It's my bad. So
You're
I
back.
think for the case of Binance and NFT, it's not so much about decentralization. To be real honest, what they are trying to do is to prove that centralization has a certain power, and centralization is actually very dangerous. One message or one decision from a centralized, powerful party can change a lot of decisions and change a lot of lives, in the crypto space. So, so again, why I said it's not so much about decentralization is because if you look at what's happening, in the space, we have decentralized projects, getting hacked. We have decentralized projects trying to look like decentralized, but they are actually centralized. I posted a Twitter post the other day. As long as someone from a decentralized project can tell me that they are decentralized, they are most likely centralized, because it's if you really want to go for a full decentralized mode, maybe working behind a DAO, for example, I think that staying unknown, at the same time staying accountable for, is something that is really lacking in the space, and and if you look at the current NFT and Binance saga right now, and it's still happening, is that we understand now that centralized exchanges, have a lot of power. If they have the money, they can change a lot of different things. So for us, as as a believer in how decentralized economies are going to work, I really hope, to see different industry top players, coming together to really look at how decentralization can work, with automation, how decentralized is going to work with better coding, how decentralized is going to, work for everybody, because decentralization is not about just staying undoxed. Decentralized is not about doing bad things and so forth. So we need to set up a proper governance structure so that decentralization or DeFi platforms or DEXs can actually run in a more regulated manner and a more um, compliant manner. That's also one thing that I really want to talk about. From a practitioner standpoint, there's really a lacking of this. And and again, moving back and forth again, from this Binance and FTX situation right now, you know, it also gives decentralized exchanges, more opportunities to showcase themselves and prove to everybody that decentralized is the way to go, right? And I think ApeX is one of them. I strongly believe, because of how the whole process and the whole governance is like, everything's on chain. I think that is a very cool thing, So right now, actually, is the best time to showcase the best practices. How you can be a lot better than the centralized folks. How your power is properly delegated to the different stakeholders. And there's really no need to fight with the centralized guys. Because their agenda and the agenda that we have, from a DEX or decentralized structure is very different. You just look at it from a more practical standpoint is that they have the power to do anything that they want, but if you look at a proper DEX, with a proper governance model, many of these things are being backed by proposals. I meant real proposals, yeah, not the same guy, approving all the proposals. As long as it's a real decentralized network operating with good consensus model, I think things will really change, and this is the best time for DEXs to showcase themselves that they can do a lot more than just being labeled as a maybe money laundering platform, or being labeled as a decentralized, unregulated, everything is cowboy, Wild Wild West kind of a platform. No, right now is the best time for you to showcase and tell people that you can do it. Bring good projects onto the DEX, show them that it can be done. You can even come out with derivatives products, on DEXs, without the without the project being listed on big places like Binance or Bybit or FTX, because DEX can actually have their own ecosystem, and DEX can change a lot of ways on how things can be formulated. So again, thanks.
Awesome. Really, really great answer. You shortly touched upon ApeX protocol, so I would like to ask you one question. I know you've tried the product already. I know you've tried ApeX Pro. Maybe you can share with our listeners what are your thoughts of the product, and if you'll be using it moving forward.
Since I'm on the show, I can't say I'm not using it, not just joking, but the thing is this, I like the whole interface that I'm seeing right now. But of course, there are people who then challenge, saying that, hey, shit, this is the same, UI UX is the same. Actually, it's not. So if you look at the detail of what is being offered, all the different charts, the trading view, and so forth, I think the DEXs are giving a almost similar experience that you get on centralized exchanges, right now, with all the data integrated and so forth. In fact, it's very easy to use. Your wallet is connected to the platform, only with certain permission. You can start to trade and the money stays with you because you hold on to the wallet, right? So this is one part that is more safe, right? That's number one for ApeX. Number two is that, all the transactions are all on chain. You guys use Starkware and so forth, to just make sure that the whole process is all, all transparent, there's there's no hanky panky, hidden, um, hidden route where you could just send your money elsewhere. So everything is clean and proper, and then if you have, um, if you have the intention to expand on the ApeX footprint, there are places that has a lot of good traders. For example, in Asia, Southeast Asia, there are a few countries that are, in Asia, there's also a few countries that they are. I strongly believe that the traders, right now can really relook at DEXs, because Apex gives a very simple UI UX, and I think most traders can get used to it very fast, and this is no longer a and maybe no longer an excuse for them not to use DEXs, because the DEXs in the past versus the DEXs right now, it is really very different. So I think Apex have a good standing, you know, um, to make a big difference. To be honest, maybe you can let us know more about Apex.
Yeah.
There are people around, who wants to be trying out, the whole platform. Maybe you can share a little bit
Yeah,
more.
I
I
was
I I, I think I am 100% okay with the platform, definitely.
that's great. Yeah, just like to add on the points you made, kind of piggyback. Yeah, definitely. I think that for us it was very important to lower the barriers to entry, and like think the best way to go for it would be to kind of create the same exact like UI UX that usually traders are used to. So we're trying to bring that usability and functionality, and also high performance that's oftentimes found on centralized exchanges, and then combine that to the trustlessness and transparency of the centralized exchanges, where traders can actually place trades and engage in trading activities in very much so privacy preserving and secure environment. I think, yeah, we are looking forward to bringing more people to Apex Pro. Whoever we've had a chance to speak with, they very much so enjoy that easy and convenient interface, because there's like no onboarding process really. It feels like they've traded on the product before. Yeah, looking forward to actually officially launching mainnet along with the trade to earn campaign in a couple of weeks. And yeah, stay tuned, guys, as we drop the exact date of the launch. Yeah, if you don't follow us, make sure you do so on our Apex's official Twitter account. So Andy, one more question that I want to ask you, which also concerns Apex. So as you know, on Apex Pro, the SBT ApeSol will be used to establish a trader's trading performance and reputation. In once we officially launch the social trading framework. So this kind of allows us to erase the need for that manual verification that usually happens in the centralized entities. Um, the Ape Soul, or our SBT, will be linked to a trader's trading profile, digital identity, that will include information about their trading volume, number of trades, open interest, ranking, profit, etc. So with Apex Pro, I mean, with this sort of framework, Apex Pro really aims to enter that Web3 social trading, where principal traders will be determined automatically on the protocol via the data locked on a trader's unique ApeSol SBT. Maybe you can share what are your thoughts about SBTs in general, and then our approach of using SBTs in social trading.
I think SBTs are definitely good. For the pure reason is it cannot be transferred. So whoever that is holding on to SBT, their identity, their wallets, their accounts, on ApeX, there's no way you can transfer it. I think it's a very good, real good traders, so I think SBT is about the medical records and so forth, and the follow up, to that consultation, to make sure that it's the right users, and this same on ApeX, to be real honest, and then you can get the right wallets, everything is there, so it's very transparent.
As we're nearing the end of today's talk, who are maybe just starting out, you mentioned that today's market can have you can share your 2 cents with regards to that.
For new users, just new tokens and so forth, get the experience right in form of investment, because cryptocurrency is very volatile, just are there, invest with more responsible, when you give out all those different signals or on some influencers comments. NFTs are a good way for you NFT marketplace. Some of their NFTs are just $0.01 bound, and so forth and so on. Then you can have a careful when you place your bets, or if you place your investments, look at how much debt they have.
Yeah, thank you everyone who tuned in. To again, it's ANNDYLIAN.